In the alien colony's quiet outskirts, I had always been seen as the weakest link, just a human tagging along where stronger, faster beings thrived. My best friend's sister, a stunning alien girl with sharp words and sharper eyes, never let me forget it. "You're too weak to protect anyone," she'd say with a smirk that cut deeper than any blade. Yet that night, after a long day of tension and unspoken truths, she lay down beside me in silence, her presence warmer than any words she'd ever spoken. The alien colony was a strange blend of colors and sounds, bioluminescent trees glowing against metallic structures, voices in alien tongues rising with laughter and warmth. I had gotten used to visiting my best friend here, but tonight carried a different weight. His family had invited me to stay longer, and while I tried to relax, there was always one person who made me feel both welcomed and uneasy, his sister. She was striking in a way that always caught me off guard. Her skin glowed faintly under the crystalline lamps, smooth and flawless, while her long black hair shimmered with violet strands at the edges. Her eyes, bright teal with flecks of silver, seemed to mock me every time they locked with mine. She teased me relentlessly, sometimes brushing off my words as if humans were too fragile to be taken seriously, sometimes smirking in silence when I fumbled with their customs. And yet, for all her teasing, she never let me feel completely unwanted. That evening, after a communal meal and quiet conversations, we all lounged in their spacious gathering room. The colony home was built in curves and arches, seats molded into the walls with cushions scattered around. Laughter from the earlier gathering still lingered in the air, but now things were calmer, just me, my best friend, and his sister. He eventually excused himself, leaving us in the dim glow of the lanterns. I expected the usual awkward silence to stretch, but then, without warning, she crossed the room, graceful and deliberate, and lowered herself onto my lap. I froze. Every nerve in my body screamed with confusion. Her weight pressed lightly against my legs, her hair spilling across my chest as she tilted her head back slightly, not meeting my eyes at first. My hands hovered in the air, unsure whether to move them or not. My heart hammered so loudly I swore she could hear it. What are you doing?" I stammered, my face burning. She looked at me then, her lips curved in the faintest smile, but her eyes shimmered with something I hadn't seen before, vulnerability. "You really don't know, do you?" Her voice was softer than usual, stripped of the teasing edge. I swallowed hard. I don't think so." She leaned closer, her hands resting gently on my chest, her gaze steady. "Among my people, sitting on one's lap is not casual. It is a ritual. It means trust. It means," she hesitated, her expression flickering between defiance and fear, "it means choosing to reveal what we usually hide." Her words sank deep into me, leaving me torn. Part of me felt guilty. This was my best friend's sister, someone I should never let these kinds of thoughts linger about. And yet, my chest tightened, my pulse raced, and my hands finally lowered to rest carefully at her waist. Her warmth was undeniable, her closeness overwhelming. Why me?" I asked, my throat dry. Her smile faded, replaced by a seriousness that pinned me in place. "Because you are not like the others. You are different." The room felt smaller, the air heavier. She leaned forward, so close I could feel her breath against my cheek. "When others look at me, they see power, status, appearance. When you look at me, I feel safe. Not judged. Not an object. Just me." I couldn't breathe. Every word she spoke pulled me deeper into a conflict I wasn't ready for. This wasn't just teasing anymore. This was real. And that terrified me more than anything. Her hands trembled slightly as she pressed her forehead against mine. "You're human. You're fragile. You're not supposed to matter in this way. But somehow, you do." The weight of her confession crashed into me, and I sat frozen, torn between loyalty and the undeniable pull of her heart. She was my best friend's sister. How could I allow this? And yet, how could I turn away from her honesty, her trembling voice, her fierce, unguarded eyes? I don't know what to say," I whispered. "Say nothing," she murmured. "Just don't push me away." The moment stretched, fragile and powerful. My arms, almost against my will, tightened slightly around her waist. She closed her eyes, her lips quivering as though she might cry or laugh. And then she whispered, "Do you understand now why I tease you so much? It was the only way I knew how to hide this." Silence filled the room except for our breathing. My mind spun, but my heart had already made its choice, even if I couldn't admit it aloud. I took a shaky breath and slowly pulled back, enough to meet her eyes. They widened, searching mine, desperate for a sign. You don't know how much this means to me, I said softly, but I can't. Not like this. Not when it would break your brother's trust. Her lips parted, a faint tremor crossing her face. For a second, I thought she might lash out, tease me again to cover the hurt. But instead, her expression softened. She lifted a hand, brushing her fingers lightly against my cheek. And then she smiled, sad, but warm. This is why humans are different. You care even when it hurts you. She slid gently off my lap, folding her hands in her lap as she looked away. The silence between us was heavier than before, but laced with respect. She didn't press further. She didn't need to. That night, as I lay awake in the quiet guest room, her words echoed endlessly in my mind. Before I could speak, before I could even form the words to push her away, the door opened. My best friend stood there, frozen, his eyes darting between us. Guilt slammed into me like a blade. I opened my mouth to explain, but he raised a hand to stop me. For a long, tense moment, he said nothing. Then, with a tired, almost resigned smile, he sighed. I always knew she'd find someone like you, he said quietly. Someone who wouldn't see her as just what she looks like. I blinked, stunned. You're not angry. He shook his head. You're my friend. And she's my sister. If her heart has already chosen you, who am I to stand in the way? I turned to look at her, her eyes shining, her lips trembling as she tried to contain the emotion rising inside her. I didn't resist this time. My arms wrapped around her, pulling her close, as her breath hitched against my shoulder. For the first time, I realized, this wasn't betrayal. This was something bigger. Something worth fighting for.